It's difficult to imagine a nation which began at least in part as the result of opposition to a British mandate, giving the East India Tea Company a monopoly in the colonies, and then imposing a nominal tax on all tea sold at the Boston Tea Party. Difficult to imagine that the founders would then have set out to create a government with the same power to force people to buy tea in the first place. Mr. Limbaugh, this was not about tea, and you know it, this was about health insurance. Mr. New Castrati, if they can force us to buy health insurance, they can force us to buy broccoli. That's not what I mean, Mr. Limbaugh. With you, people like you in charge, Mr. New Castrati, once you people get it in your heads that you can force us to buy health insurance, what's to stop you from making us buy a stupid electric car? That's why this is unconstitutional. And there's no implementing it while it's under repeal. So, where are we? Well, what happens if Obama ignores it? Everything I've read from the regime says that's an outlier. It's surprisingly insufficient. They have objected to it every which way but legally. I've not yet read a legal response to this ruling from the regime. So if Obama ignores it, he's defying a federal court. I can't remember. Well, yes, I can. I was going to say I can't remember when a president has ultimately defied a federal court, but Obama did, via Ken Salazar, the drilling moratorium in the Gulf of Mexico after the rig explosion out there. But a president and administration openly defying a federal court ruling is an extremely serious constitutional crisis, whether the media thinks it is not. Again, I just ask you, if Nixon had ignored the judiciary during Watergate, what do you think? The liberals would have gone nuts about it. So, is Obama going to uphold the law and comply with the Constitution or not? Whatever a court does down the road is beside the point. The ruling of the day is the law is unconstitutional. It has been voided. The regime must legally deal with this, and they will. If they ask for a stay, then they are acknowledging the ruling and admitting that they understand it. Doesn't matter that it might be overturned later. The law of the land right now is this is unconstitutional. We have three branches: legislative, executive, judiciary. The executive cannot tell the legislative or the judicial what to do. This bunch thinks they can. Senator Chuck Schumer was asked about the three branches. I don't know if he was serious or not. Some people think he was serious. He said, you have the House, the Senate, and the President. Wouldn't doubt if he were serious. We do know that this regime violated and ignored a federal court order on their drilling moratorium in the Gulf of Mexico. So we have an increasingly lawless president. Did you mean to say that, Mr. Limbaugh? Yes, I did, Mr. New Castrati. We have an increasingly lawless president. Look at his attack on the Supreme Court over Citizens United. Plus his administration saying they'll continue to implement this law. CBS had that story last night. What you see is a lawless, statist mentality. In this case, unconstitutional behavior if the regime does not comply with the court. Plain and simple. Now the media is out attacking Vinson, the judge. They're retracing his own history with our healthcare system. How he had to pay $700 cash or some such thing to afford the first birth of his child. The birth of his first child. As though there's something criminal or corrupt or whatever, doing their best They're not trying to defend Obamacare. They're going out and attacking the judge.